Hello there, and welcome. This is going to be resumption session. As much as anything, I have you've been following along and watching the other videos, then you will be aware that I had one that was going to cut short, and then another one that was too long to feel like I should combine it um, with the next one. Um, or the previous one. And this one is the resumption of that second one, which I cut off during the building process um, due to length concerns. The process itself continued for quite some time after that, and you can kind of yes. And I'm looking for my ship, so that's and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and take off, and we're gonna get a look um, at this from a better perspective and everything, which means I'm going to come up here. I'm going to turn around. And I'm going to get us a view from the camera, which you can see it there for a second as I. And now I'm going to close in here in our ship. Oh, look, we have a visitor landing. That is not us. Apparently, and I didn't even know that this would happen. I've never built something quite this intense, I guess you could say, before. Now I've just got us on our camera, everything, so we could take it as a screenshot. And I did promise that I would try to get you the and I'm seeing this in the video. You're not seeing what I'm seeing. I didn't realize that you wouldn't be able to see the there's a address down in the corner of left hand bottom of my screen, um, and you can't see it. And I'm not sure why. And I actually I do see why. It's not the video doesn't cover everything exactly that I see. It does cut off just a little bit of the bottom of the screen. So I'm not sure how to make that. I'm not sure how to fix that at the moment. To get you that address, but I will attempt to do that. Actually, hold on. Okay. Now, I hopefully, if this is doing what I think it's doing, I have added that address by cutting and making a screenshot snippet out of it and putting it basically where it is on my screen. So, and don't think you're missing really much. It's just this tiny little fraction of the screen down there on the bottom that you can't see, but it's really just an empty space most of the time. So, as you can see, I went absolutely crazy with. I'm not sure how it has forgotten some of my parts. Apparently they've disappeared. There. Or maybe they just aren't generated in the picture. Yeah, they're just not generated in the pictures. What is going on? And it may just be that it was just a little too much there for the camera thing. It's a little odd but we will get a better look. We'll get out here of the ship. And as you saw there, I've installed several landing pads, and then of course here's our access to the interior, which is set up on a proximity switch, and everything, so that you can walk in, and then the access to the lower floor is a direct teleportation, and currently there is not much inside, and of course it's as you've have seen, it is significantly far from the ground. And I did move our base computer up, and right now our two forms of entrance, one of which will be closed off at some point, is, I just got to find the right room, the one with the, yeah, here we go. Now this is where I've begun decorating. I just started doing this, when I finished installing this little setup. We have a copper collection and an oxygen collection node, and as you can see out the window here, we have it all set up on floating anti-gravity platforms and everything, with our piping running from one to the next to get everything set up, and we have a good view of that. And then of course here's our alternate entrance. You need an opening to pass through when you do building and stuff like that, but we won't be going into building mode in here because we'll fall through the floor, which I have done several times. In this particular build, and normally it doesn't matter, but when you're this high in the sky, you might have to just take a trip down to the planet's surface that way, and it doesn't kill you. You just wait until you're almost to the ground before you start using your jets and everything to stop yourself. But it does take a long time from this height to get to the ground, so best to, and for some reason, and I found this out from someone online. Please don't try to claim that it was my idea. Someone I read online that if you are having problems with it being pulled out of the builder in the game and everything, for whatever reason, stand on top of your ship, because your ship is immune to your builder, and apparently it makes you immune to your builder. Like weather and stuff like that won't interrupt your building session as long as you're standing on top of your ship. It's like you gain the ship's immunity somehow, so you can't be pushed or pulled or jostled or whatever and get pulled out of your builder. And I did discover, because I thought at first that it was because I had this mod that lets me go really far, as long as I'm still within the base. I think 2,000 units is what the mod gives you to kind of traverse, where you can move around and see and everything. And this is I wanted to get down here so you could see the view coming up, and get to pick up. If you watch the other, you saw where I put all the lights in, and as you get closer, they start to come in. You can see them. There we go, and then finally they'll all come on, and you get. I wish that it was a larger, like you could see them from further away, because it is very high up in the sky. As you can see, I had to actually, from the other video, I had to push it another 100 units up, because if you watched while I was building it, there were a lot of times when you could barely see anything, and I realized after really getting a good look around, it's because we were inside the cloud layer, and while you were in there, every time there was a storm, the clouds basically turned black and made it almost completely impossible to see. So I was forced to build a second stairway up another 100 units, and then copy everything that I'd already done, which took hours, and pull it all apart, and then continue with the build. So, um, if you looked at the description of the thing, the 5 hour build that I had recorded that everybody saw, then took another 5 hours to get to this stage, and another 100 units into the air. Um, Luckily, I was able to put it together a lot faster the second time because I had a guide, from the first build. But yeah, it took a lot. I had to farm more materials, and then recreate some of the stuff that I had before, and it was. And if you did watch, I did get a little frustrated from time to time with the builder itself, but and then this was actually, it was almost a relief to build all of this here, because this was simple in comparison. And as you can see, I did not get all of it apparently taken back out when I got done. And as you can see, you do not need to build extractors anywhere near the ground as long as you are directly above the node point. They will operate, even if they're mineral extractors and everything. So we'll just call them, spatial mineral extractors. They use some sort of spatial technology to access pockets of minerals below ground level, as long as they're directly above the node, and everything. Same thing with the gas extractors. Since that's the way they operate, they must be some amazing science, right? So, as you can see, here we got an insane amount of work done. It's literally one of the most complex builds I've ever done, and somehow I managed to keep it under the 3,000 piece mark and still uploadable, so that if you want, and it's still here, which it should be, unless you see that me die and the video and the save get deleted, this base will be here and available for you to visit. Now, I'm not sure if you have to be in permadeath mode to visit it, but yeah, if you want to try, or if you just want to make a character and give yourself the glyphs just to come visit in permadeath mode, and then have that character for nothing but that, feel free. I'm not going to hold it against you. I've mentioned before. Well, I may not have mentioned in this series. I agree very wholeheartedly with cheating to a certain to an extent. And what I mean by that is that cheat however much you're comfortable with. Whatever makes your game fun is fine. In a game like this, because you're not competing. I mean, you might get on here and turn PvP on, but you don't have to. You can keep it turned off. You don't have to interact with anybody. Hell, you can set it so you're not even playing in multiplayer, so you never see anybody but yourself. And that's 100% entirely your choice. Now, if you go and you start playing with other people in a competitive way, and you give yourself advantages over what they have by using cheats or whatever, I don't agree with that. But as long as it's your game and it's your fun to have, and you're having fun doing what you're doing, and it's not hurting anyone else, go for it, man. Now this one, the reason that I'm not cheating in this one is, and I do know them all. I know all the cheats. I know the duplication glitches, and I know all of the, well, it's duplication tricks. At this point, I don't think it's a glitch at all. Because if they wanted to remove it, they have to have known about it. It's been in here in the game forever. you know, and everything, and they've removed much more difficult bugs, I would imagine, to get rid of, and everything. So at this point, it's a feature, as much as anything. It may have been unintended to begin with, but they clearly don't want to take it out, or they would have. And I'm glad for that, because a lot of people like having it in there and having the choice of using it if they want to. I have not. I'm going to, and this is on my word. You can believe me or not. I have not used it, even off camera. I've been doing all of my own mining and stuff, and that is just because I have been setting the rules for this. I made up the rules about the Outlaw playthrough and everything, and I've been following them simply because I wanted to. If I decide that I don't want to do the Outlaw playthrough, I'll be honest and I'll say I'm tired of the Outlaw playthrough rules. I'm not going to do that anymore, and I'll just tell you in the video descriptions, hey, I decided not to do that anymore. So, you know, there's no reason for me to, you know, be dishonest about it in the first place. You know, I'm either going to do it, or I'm just going to tell you that I'm not going to do it, because, like I said, this is my playthrough. You may be enjoying watching the videos or not, but, you know, I'm making them and I'm doing the playthrough for my own enjoyment, and I'm hoping that other people will enjoy watching as I do it. Now, as we go on here, I think you've gotten a really good look and everything, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the address from there, over there on the screen, and everything. And I will try to remember to put in the location in time where people can pick it up and everything. But it's really right at the beginning of the video, so. But I will still try to put it in the description and everything. But then we will resume after just a moment. Okay. So yeah, you probably just saw that my position changed there. That's just, you know, what happens when I oh, okay. So the proximity sensor may have trouble picking us up from any location. So far I've never had a problem with it, but yeah, it's right there, so you just have to run around these stores until, because I don't want to put multiple proximity sensors in here if I don't have to. The wiring is relatively complex to get those things to work already. And they do work, which is cool enough for me. But now that we're almost 18 minutes in, my plan at this point is to, as you can see, I've got that one kind of went out the door, didn't it? Yeah, we're just gonna make it a little smaller so that it's not sticking out. Oh. Don't mind it being under. Yeah, there we go. I don't mind it being under a little bit like this and everything. That makes sense. You know, you could put that thing on top of a carpet or whatever, but you can't make a carpet phase through a piece of glass realistically. So it kind of breaks your realism to have that. So this video is the you know what you're going to see in this one for at least a certain period of time. It probably won't be terribly long because I'm probably not going to do I'm not going to decorate every inch of the thing, but I'm going to go ahead and put in some decorations, plan out where I'm going to put some of our people and everything that we, you know, like we have the overseer station, and I'm going to make him a little spot, and you know, I did mention that, you know, before that I was going to stick the overseer down in a basement area, but you didn't see that because I deleted that video. So here we go. I'm not going to do that anymore. You know, now that I've done this design and got all of this put together and everything, I've got basically a room for each of our people. You know, each of our little workers and everything. And so my plan is to, you know, design this whole thing, you know, for you know, each of them to have their own little, they're not each going to get a full circle, but you know, each one's going to get a piece of area for themselves and everything. And so, like, this first room that I created, that's got, the giant, and yeah, I made that big. It's normally much smaller than that, but I really thought that having a giant galactic terminal with like a trading station, like people. I guess this is supposed to represent like they're going to sit here and watch the stock market or sales markets or whatever, and everything. And then over here you've got your piles of goods and everything, and back here you got like fish, fish prices and I guess bunk parts. I don't know, But then like you got your trade terminals over here and everything that's like showing how trading is going, what companies maybe or something like that. I have no idea what they're actually showing, but that's kind of the thoughts behind the decorating that I've done here and everything. And so this room I feel is a good one for our overseer. And so we will be placing the first construction terminal for him over here next to our collectors, where our materials and everything will be collected, and he'll be in charge of keeping track of how many materials we've got once he's been hired and everything, and has nothing else to do. At least in theory. This is, I like role playing, okay, and this is part of that. I'm I've got us, and I did go with the you can't sit in them chairs. There are chairs that you can sit in, but they don't have quite the same look as these do, and everything. So, and I just like the way these feel for this particular use. Now, my plan right now, and it'll be over time because I'm going to do more decorating before we continue on. Is I'm gonna, for now, I'm gonna leave this. I'll probably add some more stuff to this room later as I get the hankering to do more decorating. And yes, I did go with a slightly off kilter, rather than going with getting it all square and perfect. I felt like that this would have been put together by visiting merchants and stuff, and someone might have thrown this carpet on the floor, and this pile of carpets got left here by somebody who bought them in another system, and then discovered that the price of carpets had dropped. So so everything looks a little haphazard and not put together perfectly. I know, and that basically makes this just as OCD as everything else, because it had to be imperfectly imperfect, or perfectly imperfect. So, yeah, there you go. That's my weird word choice for the day. Imperfectly perfect. Okay, so that's gonna be entirely because, and I did mention that before. I like the other workers, once you get them, like really act like they're afraid of the, oh, and by the way, I love in having ended up here, because now we are actually surrounded by these. They go floating by all the time, and so far I haven't had one come through the construction. They do seem to so far have missed actually passing through the building, and hopefully they will continue to, but I'm sure that they sometimes probably will. I doubt the game knows to aim them to not hit the building, but so far it's been really cool, because sometimes you'll just be standing there and a big cool looking frigate will go floating by. And as you can see, even here, when you look down, you can see how dark those clouds are and how impossible it is to see the ground once any kind of storm starts. But if you look up, we still have a nice, clearish view. I mean, you still see the pink upfloating rain, but at this height, we finally did get above the clouds, and so we're not basically blinded, looking around when it's a storm. And of course, gravitational anomalies still seem to affect us inside the building. we still got the pink rain coming through the building. I don't see how that's. I don't know how that could be, because I've built ones like this before with two, and then the sloping roof and everything to give slightly more height. And this should be weatherproof, but I think it's because it's a gravitational anomaly, and it's not quite the same as other kinds of weather. And I will later on. I'll use the because I have back this. I did not change it or anything, but I did use a tool to save this base so I can import it into other saves and other locations if I want to later on. So that, if I decide I want this base on another awesome planet, I can actually do that by using this tool, and it will allow me to import the base to any other base computer that I set up. And it'll even let me choose what positioning, like I needed it to be 200 units up from this space, you know what I mean? And I did that manually this time because I didn't actually know that you could do it with the tool. And I'm going to be honest about that. If I had realized when I did all that you could do it with the tool, then I would have done it with the tool. I would have just opened the save up, backed the thing up, and then restored it at an extra height. But no, I did not know at the time that you could do it with the tool. I only found that out later. As I was looking into, I was like, oh, this thing took me forever, I'm backing this up. And then I got to reading some of the help stuff, and I went, oh man, I could have moved that with this tool. Yeah, because when you restore it, it gives you a thing. It says from the base computer, how high do you want it? How much left, how much right, forward, back. So yeah, it does the whole base at one time. You save it, and then when you restore it, and it just puts it. So if I'm on a planet that has really high mountains, and it needs to be 2,000 units into the sky, to be above the highest mountains and stuff, I can do that. When I put the thing. Of course, I would just build the base computer on top of the highest mountain I could find, and it would, it wouldn't need to be 2,000 units up, but it is an option, to do it that way. So that is where we're at. And so my plan right now is we've got this room that's going to be the overseer, and then we're going to have, I believe, the scientist will be next, and he'll probably get, I'll be given each one sort of half a room. And so we're gonna put a thing right now that will kind of indicate, so I remember who's going where, basically. So let's see. We're gonna put a decal for science, the scientist, and our scientist would be. I know what that one's gonna be. No, it'd be nice if there was just one that was a scientist, right? No, none of those. I mean, it's going to be a Korvac, so how about, yeah, let's do that. So our scientist area is going to be the one with the Korvac's poster, and then we're going to have kind of with him, I think, the best choice go with the scientist in the same area will be our botanist, and we already had a good thing for him. He's going to give us a lot of free parts, but I think we're going to give him a wriggling companion.
Weather update. Storm clearing.
He'll have him a little wriggling companion. Every botanist needs a plant. And these will get moved around or even taken out. But for right now, this is just to remind me who's getting what part and what section. And so when I run in and I go, oh, who's going to go in here? I know that this one's going to be the scientist and the farmer. it's a farmer, but I still call him a botanist because that's actually, you know, more kind of a more appropriate name for it, I think, uh, in this term. Ooh, we might be able to give everybody a companion. This one will go well with the scientist. He's gonna have him a little robot assistant flying around. So then we've got the other two is going to be the weapons and the exos and the exo is and the thing is normally let me see. Oh yeah, because I can almost forgot about that. I can make the exocraft thing smaller now, um, so I can still do what I originally intended to do, um, which is put all the exocraft stuff inside, and put it with them. But see, if I tried to do this and give him just half a room when they were this big, it would not work. He'd take up way too much space. But now that, and I'm so sorry about that bobbing thing. I'm gonna have to. I may have mentioned this previously. I think I did. When you're in build mode and you're in third person like that, in any space, doesn't matter how tall it is, and you go to play something, sometimes it will just do that fucking bob thing, and I don't know why. Now, the thing with this is, if you're doing this yourself, and you're placing and you do want to do this like I'm doing, and be cool and place your exocraft terminals and everything inside a nice base space, and everything like this, and you go and you get you the mod that makes, you know, the thing smaller so that it can be cool, and you have the outline hologram and everything. You can still summon them into the base, and that's fine and everything. And in fact, when I summoned it made it smaller. Oh, that's awesome! It's like we're in a little RC version. Oh, that is awesome, guys. Okay, but and that's fine. As you can see, it actually is floating above the ground there. But just remember that these will, well, first of all, it'll probably resize them as soon as we reload. But number two, they will fall through the floor of your base, and to the ground. So they will not end up here. They will end up below here. And the reason for putting the stations up here is just to have the station somewhere and not need to put the station somewhere else, so that you can use the exocraft summoning station on the freighter, which we have installed on our freighter and is now there, and we can use anywhere that we have that freighter in any system on any planet. Basically, we can summon our exocrafts. Now, and this one, I don't think is going to, yeah. As you can see, it switches it, and it's probably, yeah, above us. See, because for some reason that one is set to fall from the sky. So putting it indoors, and then expecting the actual thing to work doesn't really work. So yeah, this one, like, you can, and if you want the hologram, you'll have to be there. You'll have to summon it or get into a different exocraft so that it switches it, and everything, and then it will come back. And you'll have the holograms back there. So, but I'm actually really enthusiastic about the tiny little car. I want to make it even smaller now, but no, I won't do that. So I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I find it very amusing. So that will be where our guy for the exocrafts will be, and then across from him will be our weapon technician guy, and of course he gets there it is. He gets the weapons rack. That's what's going to mark where he's going to be, and everything is we'll have access to all of our extra multi-tools when we have extra multi-tools. And we will get extra multi-tools at some point. I'll make a staff, and I'll make a... when that comes around, we'll definitely want a full tank staff. We'll definitely want to get us an Atlas gun, which is another thing. And honestly, I would like to be able to find a great version of almost all the different guns. I would like to get a Royal, a multi-tool, which are the ones that kind of fit over your hand and like come to a sharp point. They're really neat and everything. And definitely, if I can find an alien one, those are the kind that sort of look like, well, they look like parts of creatures have been pulled out, strapped to crystals and stuff. That was the coolest looking to me type of multi-tool before they introduced like the voltaic staffs and the sentinel weapons and now I think the coolest looking ones, the staffs are pretty cool, and I like that you can see them when you're just walking around, but I still think the coolest ones now, in terms of appearance, are the Atlas multi-tools. They look like giant, futuristic sniper rifles, basically, and I think they look so cool and everything that even though they don't have the super-powered laser thing, when I finally get one that's S-Class, which, by the way, I have never gotten yet in any of my playthroughs, because you have to get all the way to the end of the universe before you can start the quest line that allows you access to them. So, and I have gotten access to them, I just haven't done enough collecting of them to have gotten an S-Class one. Now, so those are all of our spaces for, I believe, because it's the Overseer, the Scientist, the Botanist, the Exocraft, and the Warrior. Should be all of our additions that we're going to be bringing in. And so these will be the areas, and we will, and now I just kind of want to get that out of the thing. I guess let's see if we reload, will it still be in here? And I just, it's the floating thing more than anything bothering me. So I'm just going to reload real quick and see what happens. Yeah, I want the base station, but I don't necessarily want the actual vehicle in the... Yeah, and that's what I thought would happen. It disappeared and is most likely already falling down towards the earth, far, far below. Oh, nope. It has just fallen this time one level and is stuck. There's a little hollow under here where our ostensible anti-gravity system would be, that would be helping this whole thing fly. And since I that's kind of what gave me the idea that this planet would be great for this build, is that it has these gravity storms and everything that make you float and everything. So it really logically follows that it would be easier on this planet to have a flying city. Which I have named Laputa, by the way. Okay, so one of the things that we need to build is a teleport room. Now, the question is, do we put this in the scientist's area as part of his sort of decorative stuff, or do we put it in its own space? I think its own space, right? We should have a room where, the teleporter is going to be. I just got to decide. For now, we're just going to stick it right in. We're going to stick it right in the middle of the room. I'll make it a reasonable size. Go. And then, and we've got so many things connected with the power at this point that you should be able to. Yeah, you should be able to walk around to just any point and have the ability to connect to a power node below the structure. So you look at all of them. Those are all those lights that I installed in the previous thing. It's and I made them pink so it looks it looks similar to the anti-gravity stuff. So they look like glowing anti-gravity nodes all along the bottom of the building. At least that's my thing. If that's the way I see it. And then of course those are the thrust generators. If I was a scientist and I was designing this, that's what I would have called them. In my imaginations, that's what I know, that they're actually just lights and everything. But for purposes of this, those are thrust generating anti-gravity coils. Right there, they're generating an anti-gravity field around our city that's keeping it from descending to the earth below, and also basically making it immune to the fluctuations in this on this planet. All of the gravity storms and everything, well, we're not affected by them here because our huge network of anti-gravity thrusters are keeping us in a bubble of contained unchanging gravity. If this was a science fiction novel, that's kind of the layman's idea. And I'm sure there's absolutely no scientific theory of any kind behind that other than my wild imagination. But hopefully you can join me on that journey of make believe. So now we're just going to spend a little time decorating for our guests that will be coming, and the rest of it will eventually get decorated as I feel like it and everything. But for right now, a lot of it's going to remain empty. I'll make one room a bar, one room like a living room, sitting room type thing, and one room a kitchen. Or maybe part of one. Yeah, this will probably be like our living area. We'll arrive here and it'll have like a little sitting area and maybe like something, I don't know yet. And then like this will probably be, we'll have like a kitchen over here and then like a bar and like an eating area and everything. And then I don't know. But yeah, I enjoyed the base building. I enjoyed decorating them and everything. The only thing is I have to be careful as we're going about doing all of this because oh no. Well, and now you can see I mentioned the space underneath, and there you go. You can see it. You can actually get into it if you take some of the floor pieces off, but we don't want to do that unless we screw up by accident. What I was actually trying to do was this, and because I'm trying to get I was trying to get the there's a thing that comes up, and I'm trying to remember how you get it to come up. There's a thing that comes up that tells you how close you are to it. Just kind of spontaneously comes up, if I remember. Um, that tells you how close you are to, um, or maybe it's. I mean, like we're still on. Oh, yeah, and there you go, Laputa Castle in the sky, um, and I actually had a better screenshot, but it changes it on its own for some reason. Yeah, that's like that's basically the screenshot I had, but then like it put that new one that was a little zoomed in. So now the base is now current, and I'm going to keep uploading it because when you make changes, they don't get uploaded until you add them. But uh, we have to be careful if we want to keep it uh, uploadable, because after a certain point, and that point is about 3,000 pieces, I think. Um, you can no longer upload the base, and once you can't upload the base, the only way that you can still bring people to the base as long as I'm online, but it won't be available if I'm not playing to people in multiplayer. Like if you came to the system via portal and I'm not in the system, if I didn't upload it, you wouldn't be able to get to it. Uh, because yeah, it has to be uploadable, and so I'm going to attempt to keep it under the 3,000 pieces, but that may not be possible. I haven't put any plants in yet, as you can see, um, and I did in the end manage to get the full 24 uh, planting domes. Um, so it's going so that there are going to be a lot of plants once I actually get them in there and everything. So what I probably will do is, if we hit the limit, I will upload it with no plants. If we get to that limit, I'll upload it with no plants as it is, and then it should be available in that format. Even if I exceed that limit, then later after that, I think that's how it will work. Is that it'll still be available, but it'll be available like kind of as if it was saved at a stage before. And I could be wrong. I don't know exactly how it works. The game doesn't really explain it particularly well. All right, so let's do our scientists area. And really we're just looking for stuff that looks as if it would go in a, scientists sort of area. We got all the decals and everything, but more of lockers. That seems like it would be like a scientist like that. Lockers. Now, I'm tempted to try something with those. With those. However you want to say that. Um, we're gonna try this. Here. We'll need to put them on at first. Table, yeah. to leave that there. Now I want to. I may do this with the robot and the other and the weekly companion too. Sometimes you just gotta try and figure out ways to manipulate the system just a little bit that they get things the way that you want them. But hologram of this guy that we're studying here. But it actually looks like the dude itself, so. Back in. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so as you can see, that does work. So now we just move that over and we boop, boop, and it doesn't affect where that is now. It just affects. Okay, so now it looks like there's an actual. I know. I should have been. I actually. And now it screwed it up because I can't fix it without taking it out and starting over. Damn it! Sorry. That's all right. At least we know how. At least we know how to do it. You say it ended up not being pointed in the sort of the direction I wanted it pointed. I wanted it close to the wall, but I didn't want it actually facing the funnel. Right. And now we can move it around a little bit before we take the tables out. And now, take the tables out. Hopefully put it back. It doesn't want to go back. You know, it's okay. Okay that it doesn't want to go back. Well, we will make it go back. Placing a new one. Okay, so got that back into place. We got him, and that, I think that looks good. He's got him a little. Not that I would ever condone research on a living, but it's not living. It's an artificial, it's an artificially generated sort of hologram and everything. I mean, obviously, I've just put it in such a way that you can't see the generator. The scientist, his station will be probably right here. Give him some more. Give him some more stuff. I never know what direction these things are gonna open. Also not sure if they always open in the same direction no matter what point of. No, there we go. Yeah. That. give him a couple of his own solar panels. And yes, I am 100% giving him completely useless solar panels and batteries. I mean, I guess technically we could hook something up to him and everything, but it makes sense. It makes sense for this, the scientist to have some, of his own power stuff and everything here. This was an expedition item. Here. And of course, you can activate it, and it does this cool little thing. And it actually had an effect during the expedition, where you had to stay close to it, and it would lower. Basically, it was like a hazard protection thing where it would recharge a special type of hazard protection. That you needed, and was constantly, no matter where you were, it was constantly being ate away, unless you were inside like a building or something like that. Actually, no, I think if you were inside most buildings, I think it stopped. I don't think it recharged unless you were near one of these. But that's what this did. Is you'd install one of these inside your base, and people could go up and initiate the thing, and it would recharge your special hazard protection. Now, you think we should give him 2 or 3 different little robot? I think we should. Let's put this one. Oh, we'll probably give him a light table. We'll give him one of these. There we go. That's so he can monitor his power station.
Incoming storm.
Let's see. This table seemed awfully good for this. I keep forgetting and switching because don't fall down. Probably help us place this thing here. Okay, so there's one. The loot. Let's I guess let's place another one over there. We'll give him at least 2 little robot dudes. Yeah, and as you can see, there's an entire sort of a little underworld down here that we could even use for, other stuff at some point. Just I don't know what at the moment, but it's all down here, and you could definitely put like a teleporter down here, to access, the area if you wanted to. Okay, let's get a second little. Oh, we can put a second little robot guy up. Sometimes it says only one or only two of a certain thing. Base. And robot do may be one of those things. I don't know. Yeah, I think that should be. Yeah, yeah. There, that works. That works. All right. And now before we close it up and get trapped.
Weather update. Storm clearing.
Okay, I gotta figure out the pattern. I need to look at it from above to make sure I got there. Had to make sure I had it pointed in the right direction. Come on, guys. Okay. I think his little area is good for right now. Yeah. We can definitely add more later. I think the botanist may get a little more of an area of his own here. Find him. There, I was gonna say there's and my only problem is they need to add um, piles of dirt so that you can like put a little bit of dirt, make like a little, thing that, and then put little piles of dirt in it, and then plants on top, so that because you can't really make a planter that looks like a real planter with no dirt. And the closest you can get right now is these, and everything like you get. And that's what I've been doing, is just using these as a. Need Geknip for that. I don't have any Geknip? Wow, okay. It makes perfect sense. He's wheelbarrowing around an anti-gravity plant on an anti-gravity planet. And he may be allowing some barnacles to grow on our... You can change the color. Oh, it does change the color. It changes the color of that ball at the center. All right. I think that's good for his area. At least for now. I may think of more stuff later, but I think for him, just having mostly just having that stuff, but um, there is stuff that not small anymore.
Weather warning. Incoming storm.
What the hell would these be attached to? They move and everything. That is cool, but I mean, they have to be maybe suspended from something. Like, you can't just have them hanging there in open space like that. It makes sense. And now these are actually, once you place them, these are actually generators that will keep generating the same stuff. You know, when you run around on planets and you find these green boxes and they're rusted shut and stuff, and you pull the rust out and then you get items from them, these generate the same shit that comes in those boxes. And as long as you have 10 ionized cobalt and an antimatter, you can keep building and building, or you can build. I don't know that there's a limit to the number of them you can build, and you can just keep coming in here every once in a while and just looting them. And the same applies for these guys. But you do, for these, you do still need the Atlas Pass to loot them. I think that probably has got it for the weapons guy as well. Okay, so I think yeah, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the session of decorating, and I did that just in preliminary, and now we're going to go and rejoin our questing as soon as I get back from taking a short break, which you guys won't really even notice very much. It'll just be a few seconds of delay, and then we'll get back started. Mission targets in another system. Let's see what system it says we need to go to. Yeah. I don't think we've been to the. So I think we're gonna have to jump there again because we haven't been to the. We didn't go to the space station, and we will have to go to the space station for this. It's one of those where we don't have a choice. I almost wish they would have just made it so you could meet these guys on a planet at like a trading post or something instead of the space station, but it's always the space station for these missions. But for this one, we don't really have anything we need to do there, so we will just go in, talk to the guy, and leave. So that we don't have to use one of our passports. Specialist Kauluta. Hey, that's an actually reasonable name. I hate the ones. I hate when you get the ones that have a weird, really weird name that you can't pronounce just because it's like, yeah, all consonants. Like, it's like, what the world? Is it really you? Forgive me. I've been searching for such a long time. I am contracted to aid you in this and every cycle. Don't worry, everything was paid for a long time ago. It's all quite above board. As the stranger speaks, a small smell assaults me, a pheromone infesting my brain, giving me memories of places I never visited, of actions I never took, of myself in a mirror, aged and alone, of this Gek cradling their fallen brethren, of a bargain made many years from now, a contract signed across the cosmos. The vision ends and the Overseer remains. The Overseer promises to expand my base, allowing me to recruit other workers. They require a construction terminal to get started, which we have. Alright, so now is the time to bring up something about this particular individual. And it's not specifically this guy. He looks different every time you meet him in different playthroughs and everything. I will be at my station before you know it. See you soon, friend. Okay, and that's all we're doing at this base, and he'll be there when we get back to the base. So, and we'll get there by summoning our freighter to the system. So, as I was saying, that guy, do you remember when we were doing the quest line for the base archive, and we were going through all of that, and we met this first spawn, or our previous iteration met a first spawn in the world of glass, in that sort of existence, and everything. And remember, you got to remember that is kind of out of time. Like, that's why we could meet him, because in the world of glass, people from basically the future or the past can meet people from, any other time, because there really is no time in that space, at least as far as I can kind of conceive of the way that world of glass sort of works. It's like outside of those parts of reality. Time doesn't exist there, which is kind of why there's an infinite number of sentinels, because they kind of exist there, and they can come here without ever actually having, and be destroyed without ever being destroyed. It's a weird concept, but it's confusing, I know, but my theory is that this Gek that we meet, the Overseer, based on our interactions that we'll have with him, and that that everything, and what he tells us there, and stuff, is that he is like the reiteration, or if you will, reincarnation, of the first spawn that we met and kind of appeared to have vowed to be our companion in the world of glass. And I think that is what he's referring to when he says that he's contracted to sort of serve us in this and every cycle. And by cycle, he means iteration, basically. So each time we reincarnate, his reincarnation of that time is going to serve us as our Overseer, I suppose. So that's my theory. And as you see, as we interact with him and everything, it really, the theory holds up except in one place, and in that particular place, I actually believe that he lies to us about it, and there it is. Yeah, I think he actually lies in what he says. He lies to us about. He tells us like our son will contract him or whatever, and everything. And I think he's lying when he says that to us. And it's just an excuse, because like based on everything. Like none of the travelers, ever reference children and uh, all of that stuff. It's one of the like it. I don't think the travelers ever meet anybody else to have children with. So how would we do that? You see what I'm saying? Like it implies that there are no other travelers in the same physical existence as any other traveler. Like you can meet them, but it's always those meetings where you're not really in the same place, except maybe the anomaly. But I'm not sure. I'm not even sure that that's an actual physical meeting either, because that's kind of like it's very similar in a way. I don't know. Anyway, those are all they're weird theories and everything, but there's no way to verify any of that unless one day the developers just come out and go, here's the explanation for all of that weird crap that you've always wondered, that is part of the game. You have so much to learn, so much to see, and this place will be our home amidst the infinite. Take this glass and let starlight flood into our jolly home. New product formula, glass. And this is a different glass formula than the one I've been using, because it uses some of the plants rather than the melting of the silicon. Everything pours through glass in the end, but there's time enough. Okay, remember glass. The first thing he does is give us glass. For what reason? I mean, yeah, he has this whole thing with light pours through glass and everything. And at first I just thought that was just, I didn't think it was a reference to anything. But now, why? Why specifically glass, and how he says that everything comes through glass in the end? I think that this is a reference to the world of glass, where we originally met his first incarnation and he became bound to us throughout all of the incarnation. But there's time enough for that. There are other things we have to do. If you prepare chromatic metal, I will use it to calibrate a science terminal suitable for a Korvax entity. The Korvax has suffered terribly at the hands of my people. Be kind of them, I beg of you. The Overseer asks me to gather chromatic metal in preparation for the recruitment of a Korvax scientist. Accept. Specialist Kauluta is already making themselves useful. A science terminal, a new Korvax guest, and all for just a handful of chromatic metal. We have to walk away from him for a second. Here we go. For some reason, it doesn't like to, if you just keep standing next to him, it doesn't like to activate the next portion of the quest. There we go. You need to, I mean, it will if you stand there long enough, but I once stood there for like 10 minutes before it finally did it. But if you back away a fair distance, it's like, it gives him room to activate the next portion. Like, oh, he's not here anymore, it's time to activate the next portion. Or something. I don't really understand why it does like that, but there you are again, traveler. I am sure you have the required materials this time. That I've always been a little confused about this one. The Overseer speaks strangely, implying that we have performed this encounter before. I have no memory of such meetings. Now, this, I think, is referring to, he kind of has clearly he somehow has memories of being not only, I think, the first spawn, but all of the different incarnations that he has been, which, man, would probably drive someone insane to keep remembering. Like, we don't remember our previous iterations. We don't remember him, everything, but he is implying that he remembers each time. Probably because, he's like sworn to be our servant or whatever, so he has to remember that, and thus, and I imagine that's very difficult, or would be very difficult, assuming that that's what's going on. The overseer speaks strangely, implying that we have performed this encounter before. I have no memory of such meetings. I ask who paid them for this service. Here it is. This is what I was talking about. They are performing for me. They laugh and claim that my child did many years from now. I do not know what they are talking about. The overseer asks me for the chromatic metal. Okay, and another thing, he might be, because if you remember, we are in the thing when we were talking about our previous iteration. Laylaps was kind of our child. There, we captured a sentinel drone, cut it open, retrieved portal coordinates actually out of it, and we got the portal coordinates, and then we were feeling bad or something. I'm not exactly sure why we did it, because it didn't really make that clear. But we then repaired Laylaps, and but it changed it. It changed the Sentinel, and it became and it sort of became, it forgave us and became our friend and companion, and I guess sort of like a child, because when we did that, it was reborn into a new being. It wasn't a Sentinel really anymore. It was some new thing that we had created. So that his talking about our child having paid him may be a reference to Laylaps, who was involved with that whole thing. Sorry, I'm just discussing this because I think you guys might find it as fascinating as I do, trying to puzzle out, because this game has one of the most complicated backstories and everything, and trying to put it all together is extremely difficult because it's all in tiny fractions and pieces. And you have to get them from a lot of different places. You've got the base archived quest line that has one piece that is, it's kind of one piece, but it's all spread out. And then you've got all these interactions with these guys, and then you've got another set of interactions when you do another quest line, and then you've got all the different sort of quest lines that aren't really quests. Like when you go to the different buildings and stuff, you have a whole nother series of the abandoned buildings. When you just go to them and you find them, there's a whole nother series of like messages that are left there, and implications and histories and stuff, and all of that ties in as well. The same applies for, in terms of the races and their histories and what has happened between them and to them. The monolith, each different race on their different planets, when you go to their monoliths, have references to different things, and it tells you little parts of histories and stories of Herc for the Viking, and the first spawn for the Gek, and for the Korvax it's trying to remember, Korvax Prime or something like that. But like they have a big entity, and then once we, even with the autophage, get into that, there's like this, and all I know to call her is the Purple Queen, because I haven't gotten enough information from them that I could understand because beyond that. But there's like, yeah, there's this female, and they do consider it a female because they specifically call it a queen or a female entity, and it's associated with the color purple somehow, and everything. And so there's that, and eventually we'll get through enough questline that I'll have my theories about that as well. Yeah, so I think it's fascinating, all of the story stuff that you can put together, and like, I'm just giving you my take, of what I think I've put together. I could be completely wrong, but at least I am giving, these are my reasons, for believing what I believe. So we'll give him the chromatic metal. Perfect, friend. I knew you would succeed. Just what I needed to finish the science terminal plans. A research station tailored to the needs of scientists and equipped for research and development of scientific blueprints. We have littered the universe in our greed, traveler. This planet is no exception, but there is much that can be done with litter. Make your way to an abandoned structure and harvest the data from their terminals. I shall use it to fashion us plans for a storage container. Specialist Kuluta is reflective for a Gek. They almost seem to regret the greed that characterizes their people. They wish to make something new from the remains of the old. Is this just greed in disguise or something else? Whatever their motive, the Overseer claims that I will find data for a storage container blueprint in a nearby structure. You won't regret it, friend. I've marked you a site that seems to be ripe for exploration. So, the first thing we're going to do... Okay, that's weird. It's not bringing up our base building thing, even though we're in our base. Which could be an issue. Probably need to just reload, and hopefully it will fix it. Because we're definitely not just in the base, we're right next to it. That's a new one, by the way. Never experienced that particular bug before. And it has to be a bug, because, I mean, if we were a long way away from our base computer, that'd be one thing, but we're literally standing on top of it. There we go. Yep, just a temporary boog. Alright, scientist terminal. Well, I know, I just keep doing it and fucking it up, but that's... Stick it just a little bit in the wall, there. There we go. I think that looks, well... I think it does, I think. I think, therefore I am. Oh, Lord. Little Miss Piggy does Shakespeare. Alright, so now we just gotta go get us a scientist. Well, I have to look, I always have to look around because I didn't land here. So I'm never sure which one is going to stick our ship on. And by the way, I did not know that if you built all of these extra landing pads that you would get these guys. And it's totally useful to do this because we're now like we're like our own trading post. These guys land and we can, like, I need gamma root and I need facium. You know, for planting our plants, we're gonna need all of the different plants and stuff. So we can just sit out here and wait for people to land and buy our plant stuff from them so that we can plant all our plants in our gigantic garden, you know, in the sky. our sky garden. Which, by the way, totally fits it's what made me think of the Laputa thing. You know, in Laputa Castle in the sky, the anime, when they get there, the whole thing is overgrown. It's covered in plants. Now, I would actually do that, you know, put plants everywhere and everything, but this is sort of the second best, you know. It's all the planting domes and everything like that. And at some point, I may actually just, you know, throw some potted plants out around here and there. But I did make things fairly narrow and everything, so it might make things hard to move, or make it harder to move around if I did that. So, but we may still do that. Right? And hire scientist, okay, so we're just trying to, we're gonna find out where. It's the same. It wants us to go to the same place. So this time, we can actually we can portal there. We don't have to jump to that system because now we have the station, and that's where we have to go for it anyway. Again, once we have the station, we're not banned from going there for quests, but That's all we do. We just go there, we do the quest, talk to the one person, and then leave. Wait, we can't go there from here. I don't think so anyway. Yeah, because I guess we're in the round kind of system. Now we can, we can go to our base. And I do need to go in, and I'm going to go and take those down at some point. You know, I'm gonna do that right. I'm gonna do it right now. I want to get them out of our list. I know it's a side thing, but
Incoming storm.
yeah. And I did discover, I don't remember, I think it was on camera, and I was really pissed off to realize this, but yeah, when you take a base computer down and it salvages the stuff, it doesn't salvage everything and stick it and put it in that salvage container thing, which it would be nice if it had, but it gets half, I think, half of what it took to build it. If you take it down like this, by hand, manually, you get everything back when you deconstruct stuff. So, while it's convenient time-wise, if it's a huge base like Laputa, and you want to deconstruct it, it is a time saver to just pull the base computer and let it deconstruct everything. But and if you have random shit thrown in different places like that, it'll also pull that stuff up, and then you'll get at least something back from it. But if you want your materials back in full, or at least mostly in full, yeah, don't do that. Don't expect to get all of it back when you pull it up. I can't believe I've never noticed that before. But yeah, I noticed it this time, and I was a little irritated because I was like, yeah, I had at least 30 metal worth of metal sheets that I should have gotten back, and I only got 15. And yeah, so I was a little disappointed because I was running low at the time on ferrite. And I've since made up for that, but yeah, we're actually, I had almost 17,000, and we're below that now, and it's mostly in metal sheets, guys. It takes 10 metal sheets to make each one of those storage depots that I placed, and I think I placed 7. I think I placed 7 of them for each material type at our new base and everything. So that's 140 total sheets of metal just for the storage containers. So yeah, it takes an awful lot of ferrite dust to put that together. So Yeah, and I want the materials back for this because I know last time when we... Come on, man. Just fucking land, would you please? Thank you. I don't care if it's a mile away. Sometimes it just does not like to land. And it is like a mile away. It's like way the hell over there. And it's not like this isn't flat. You know, it's almost as flat as it can possibly be. Alright, so I think that has got... I did get that.
Weather update. Storm clearing.
Yeah, I got that save beacon. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. I was worried for a second there. I thought we had crashed. I don't know what did happen, but at least it wasn't a crash. Yeah, there it is. We got the save beacon. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and delete this space. And as you can see, it doesn't care generally if it's flat or not. So I don't understand why it keeps having issues about landing. Yeah, and see, I built a bunch of these here. Which reminds me, we need to... Might as well... Reason to, of course, and we had a lot. We had more storage here than we do at the new place, but I don't think we need 11,000 worth of storage for the oxygen anyway. 11,000 turned out to be more, significantly more than we really needed. And the new place has enough power that we didn't have to set up anything like this for our new oxygen harvesting. Ow. Really? God. Sorry. I'm just like, how did we manage to not? There's one thing we haven't scanned yet. Me. I got the hiccups. Like, that's why I keep making those noises and everything. I keep hiccuping. And you may not actually be hearing the noises, but like you'll hear me pause for a second. And I'm not sure. You may be hearing the noises or you may not. I'm not sure if the mic... It hasn't cut off. Like, I don't know if they're loud enough for you to actually hear them or not. There we go. And we don't really need the access to this planet anymore. So we'll go grab our I mean, we don't have to take the save beacons. But we won't move. I mean, it's fine. We'll just leave those. If we do find ourselves back in this system at any point, we'll have some locations. And we probably will. We'll want to visit all our previous systems for the hunt for our organic frigate fleet. when that happens, when that occurs. And at least we're set up for that. We did get that dream aerial, so yeah. And you'll notice, like, I haven't even bothered since we got it. I haven't bothered at all to do any of that stuff. You know, none of the missions or anything like that. So yeah, this is kind of the point I was making, and everything is that I don't feel like I'm cheating because I don't do that much, you know, and everything. Like, even once I get the organic frigates, it'll just be because they look awesome floating around our ship when we warp, you know, bring the ship in and everything. We see our fleet all around it and everything. When you have 44 cool looking organic frigates all around your fleet, it's awesome. It really is cool, really cool, especially because you got all these different designs of them and stuff. All right, so and at some point, like, we're gonna go and we will, you know, sort of retool with all the dissonant camps and everything. Right now, we're actually, our Laputa Castle in the sky is actually near what was dissonant camp number 1, but I actually need to go back over there and put another computer down and make it a dissonant camp, because where we are is too far away from the camp to make it convenient for doing the farming thing that I'm going to use the dissonant camps for. So I will do that at some point. I'm not going to do it right now, though. Like, right now we're just gonna go do our thing. We have to go to here so that we can get to the base that we aren't currently allowed to warp to directly from. We have to go to we can warp to anywhere from our base, which is weird, but we can't warp to just anywhere from our. This is the one we needed to go to right here. Sorry for that tangent little thing. I just felt like I needed to get that done. So we're just looking for the marker. There he is, right there. Analyst entity Metulino. Metulino? Okay. Unknown life form. I passed my test. Ehoo! I am free to explore, free to pursue my passion for structural analysis. Do you have a base? A science terminal? Think of all that might be done. The Korvax is happy, overjoyed to see me. They seem to have just completed some rite of passage for their species, necessitating them to go out into the universe and pursue their interests. The scientist offers to join my base if I provide them with a science terminal, which we have. The scientist. Ehoo! Think not of payment. Scanning you while you sleep will be reward enough. That is creepy. Just letting you know, dude. A little creepy. Alright, so now we should just be able to whoop, right back to our base. Yeah, and I want to. I know that this is completely stupid, but I want Laputa to be the first in our list of bases and stuff. And to do that, I actually have to deconstruct all of the other bases and rebuild them, which I'm fine with doing, because, like, yeah, I want to do that anyway, because right now they're all just tents, basically, and I want to, you know, the ones that I want to keep, I'm going to put up an actual structure. Yeah, usually one of these guys. Damn it, it did it again. So, yeah, we're bugged again, but it's fine. We're not actually building right now. But I was gonna show you. I just like to put up a pre-constructed one of the square around buildings instead of the big tent, because they give you better protection from the weather. So if you show up on a planet that's got heavy storms, and we have at least one of those, then you know, you don't get, like, sucked out of the building by the wind like we did from the tent that one time. A fine base, traveler, as of course befits your honorable status. Oh, Korvax shall be so happy here. The Corvax is brimming with enthusiasm. Neither their shell nor the walls of my base seem able to contain them. Request aid. Honor! To witness the monolith of the Traveler. Honor! But please, Corvax, contribute. Take these blueprints, lubricant and acid, liquids close to Corvax hearts. Sadly, we already have bought both of those. So neither one of them is technically free. But because we needed it for other things. Like we needed to make that living glass that one time, and we needed the lubricant for that. The acid, we had to pick something, and it was the only thing available on the new materials list because it's the first thing. So when we went to that factory to unlock anything else, we had to unlock acid. So, I mean, there was really no choice at that point for that. Traveler. Harvest marrow bulb, and Corvax will do more. We'll create plans for microprocessors and advanced refiners. Corvax will also clean the windows while you are gone. He developed Windex. The Corvax is desperate to please. Trademark. No. Sorry. The Corvax is desperate to please, showering me with praise and offers of assistance. They tell me travelers are to be honored, raised above all others. What have I done to earn such esteem? The scientist requires marrow bulb and cobalt, materials found underground. They will be able to use this substance to craft blueprints for microprocessors and advanced refiners. Accept. Joy! Our home will be light and our windows will be clean. Gee, I love that. Oh. We should have. Sorry, I'm actually looking for. I kind of need to convert some of that into that before we run. So, and we are. Oh, we ran out of pure ferrite. Oh no, it just got moved. Yeah, now I'm picking up. We have all of these from bases where they were placed. Sorry, just gonna do a. Oh, it's not in system. That's fine. We can get it. We can call it. Bam. Oops. No, it's up there. Oh, no, that does go to the starship. I'm sorry, I'm actually confusing myself. Well, normally it would go to the starship. I don't need it in the starship. I need it in the freighter now. We can really destroy those. We don't need those anymore. We've basically bought everything you can get from them at this point. I'm still keeping a couple of those in my exosuit because sometimes while we're out doing stuff, I still need to put it. And I don't have the backpack one yet. Once I have the one you can install in your exosuit, we won't need it as much. Oh, I forgot that we still had stuff in our exocraft.
Weather update. Storm clearing.
Kept that facing. Because we don't have it in our deck yet. That's where I generally put it. All the white metals, right there. It's not. The thing though is that it's not really a material, is it? So we'll stick with moving it. It's more of one of the. It's more like one of the plants than anything. What it really is excrement, which is where you get it. If you feed planetary animals and then follow them around, they eventually excrete a little pile of facium. And I was gonna say, and I know we had some. Yep, get rid of save beacon. They're always useful. And you can put down a system, I think the limit is 5 to a system. Might be a plan. I don't know, I'm not positive. 5 per system or 5 per plan. I've never put down that many anywhere, so it is kind of an interesting question as to which it is. Okay. Yeah, I was keeping all that stuff in the starship because the starship was usually right next to me when I was building and stuff. But now, a lot of times I go away from the starship when I'm doing building and stuff, and it's easier to access the stuff when it's on the freighter instead. So that is why I moved everything to the freighter storage instead. Now, we talked to that guy. Oh, we need to go back and talk to. I think we need to go down. Search. Oh no, we need to go to an abandoned. Oh, we need to talk to the scientist. I knew we needed to talk to one of them. Damn it. To be working together. Okay. Scientist is quite a contrast to the slightly unsettling Gek already at home within my base. They see the world with such a straightforward excitement. Their enthusiasm is infectious. Agreed. The quarterback's buzzes and flashes their lights in a way that can only mean they are happy. Oh, okay. So, I was going to say, he did send us to do something. I just don't remember what the it was. Oh, Maribol. We need to get the... Okay. Now, here's the thing about this. We definitely have it already. but we have to put it in our exosuit count for quest. We could have accessed it, no problem, but any other way, and it, and until we had it in our exosuit, it wouldn't have counted as having it with us. Traveler, I've prepared your blueprints. Please hurry. But please hurry. Something has happened. The Korvax seems changed from the happy soul they were on my departure. They are fighting their worry, trying to stay focused on their promise to me. Give miracle. The Korvax leans forward, anxious for the rest of their materials. Oh, Korvax has completed the plans, but Traveler, my people have abandoned me. As of 104.32 seconds ago, I lost the hearing, the sight of the Korvax convergence. If you... Yeah, and see, for some reason we get the large refiner from him instead of the medium refiner, so that's why I went ahead and bought it, because I knew that you never get that one for free. You get, the large one, which is great. The large one's better than the medium one, I mean, in general terms, other than costing more to build. But, yeah. If you want the medium one, you have to buy it. I seek immediate reconnection. Go to this transmission tower. Enter my soul. Discover what is wrong. Help Korvax with solitude, please. Analyst entity Metulino, got it, is deeply upset, claiming that they have been disconnected from the Korvax hive mind. The scientist asks me to take their personality core to a transmission tower for analysis. Remove core. Enunciate. Sorry. Core removed. Entity offline.
Alert. Navigational data received.
Alright, so our first, we're going to do this one when we figure out where our ship is. There it is. I know there's a marker, but honestly, until you actually turn to the point where you can see the marker, only then can you know where the ship is anyway. So.
Navigational data received.
It's not far, is it? It is approximate, huh? That certainly looks like what might be an abandoned building right there. And it is. It is an abandoned building right there. User identified. Terminal active. Accessing schematics. The place the Overseer has led me to has long since fallen into disrepair. Its panels are buried beneath the same oily, pulsating fauna that I have seen before in long-abandoned buildings. The air is fetid and damp. Power up the terminal with little hope of success, but to my surprise, it buzzes noisily and springs to life. My Overseer's intuition has served me well so far. I shall have to trust that these schematics contain the required data. A few little free credits there. you notice that's not exactly pointing to the right spot? There we go. Connect to the scientist's core to the convergence. Yeah, we're going to do this before we go back. Oh, we had already found one. There it is. Alright. Now, I'm going to mark this with one of our free save beacons. Because if you remember, these transmission towers reset, and I am in the market for new ships. I'm gonna be honest with you. While I love our solar ship, and I'm never going to take it apart or anything, I am getting a little burned out on this particular ship. I just wanted a different looking ship and everything. So I may want a fighter or a sentinel ship or something. Anything to just change things up a little bit when I get the chance. Rabat viral entity, the convergence hula of your assistance. Inbur where yeah, I know. I wouldn't, but we know enough of the language now that I don't sound like an idiot just trying to read the whole thing and having no part of it we can read. Inbur where we cannot. The lifeform's mask flashes a repeated pattern. They gesture towards their manifest as if to recruit me for some task. Do we want to do... It's a mission, and right now we don't want to do it, so we're going to decline it. I'm so sorry. If we take it and then we decide we don't want to do it because it's like too hard to do or will take forever, we'll lose faction. We'll lose standing. So I'd rather not do it than lose standing because I don't have time or, something like that. Terminal online. Prepared to insert the Korvax intelligence core into the transmission tower. The judgment of the core convergence awaits. Your judgment. Terminal online. Connection established. Error. Diagnostic. Korvax science unit corrupted by traveler interaction. Personality overwritten. Anomaly involvement detected. Solution. Quarantine Korvax science unit from convergence. Observe. Analysis. Silence. Hypothesis. Sentinel. Atlas. Universal Foci. Countermeasure in progress. Risk assessment. Entropic. Galactic destruction rebirth. Error. Atlas. Error. 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 They see you. All right. And we get... Yes, we got it. Alright, so that's both of those, so we can head back to our base. Yeah, and of course I am now wondering if having the base in the sky is what's causing that bug or something. I don't know. It's a weird bug. I've never had a bug like that happen before. There it is. Okay, it's high. It's not that high. Scientist first. No, no, no. I just use null for those. Anal. Sorry. Analysis. Analyst. Oh Lord. You guys aren't reading this for my or watching this for my intelligence, I hope. Analyst entity Metulino's shell sits in front of me, awaiting reconnection. Trapped inside the data core, I have no way of knowing how the Korvax has taken the encounter at their transmitter. Insert core. Shell reconnection in progress. Right, while we're waiting. No, not you. Nope, nobody in there. Sorry, wrong room. There we go. You are back! I am so glad, friend. I will extract the storage blueprint as soon as I have the data. It is good to see the Gek is so invested in the success of our home. They are clearly happy to see me, energized for the task at hand. Give data. Here is your blueprint as promised. A trivial task. Their code was just sitting there to be manipulated. And now we have... And while it only showed 5, we get all of them. And yes, we had already purchased the majority of them. And I don't really use the ones that you build at your base. So... Because they're harder to access. You actually have to access them directly at your base. In fact, I kind of feel like they should make it so that there's a base tab up here in addition to the freighter one, and make it so you can install a matter transmitter for your base or whatever, and so that, you know, so that you can do the same thing as you can do with a freighter with your base storage containers. But I don't know. That's just me, and maybe they thought about it and decided to not do that. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it's decidedly inconvenient because there's less ways. You can't sort. You know, when you access the storage containers directly from the base ones, you can't sort them. You can't, you know, access them with any the inventory to trade with. You have to use our exosuit inventory. You can't move things directly from the containers to, like here. If I go to here, I can move them to anything, right? But if I go to a storage container that's built here, you know, on the base, and access it, I can only move from that to my exosuit, or from exosuit to that directly. So oh yeah, we gotta go back and talk to the... Sorry, my brain is telling me to go reset, but it won't help to reset unless we actually need to build something. And we don't right now. Unknown life form, I passed my test. Ehoo! I am free to explore, free to pursue my passion for structural analysis. Do you have data to operate on? An observatory would supply some. Think of all that might be done. The Korvax appears to have no memory of our previous encounters. I do not know if they feel reconnected with the Convergence, or if they simply do not recall what they should. I should visit an observatory for them and see if the structural analysis they claim to enjoy will prompt a memory. Accept. I look forward to seeing the results, traveler.
Alert. Navigational data received.
And I believe that he will have another interaction for us now as well. Yep. Things are going well, friend, but it will not be long before violence follows us here. It is inevitable. If I had some microprocessors, I could steal a march on fate. Yes, I would design a weapons terminal suitable for a Viking armorer. The overseer asked me for microprocessors in order to design a weapons terminal. The scientist should be able to assist with this task. They already did. Specialist Kauluta has been helpful so far, and I have no reason to distrust them. I shall find them the microprocessors they need. I just try to do the ones that are doable right that second as soon as they're doable, so. I trust our new Korvax friend was helpful. They are merely the start of our merry band. Are you ready to take the next step? The Overseer asks for the microprocessors so that they can finish the plans for the weapons terminal. By the way, I know I kind of implied that I was stupid earlier, but my issue right now is that I'm trying to speak too fast sometimes, and I'm tripping over my own speech when I do that because I get excited, or I am reading and feel like I'm into the story and everything, but then I just I'm trying to talk faster than I really should be talking, and right now I'm slowing myself down, and it's a problem that I'm having recently due to some changes in medication that I've been taking and everything for my attention deficit, trying to get it under control, and the medication it actually seems to be doing the opposite of what it's supposed to be doing. It actually making me more not my attention problem as well. I mean, I think you can actually have been able to see it in some of the videos that I've made. So, if you've been following along and everything, you may notice that I have been tending towards being a little manic while I've been doing this, and that's just been lately. And I do have been talked to my prescriber for that at the moment. So please forgive me if you think I'm, tripping over my words and things like that, and I'm just going too fast. I sometimes when I'm doing this, I'm not paying close enough attention to myself, and I'm I am becoming just a little manic and tripping over my words and not enunciating properly, and sometimes I know that can get on some people's, so I apologize if that's happening and it's bothering you, and I hope you'll stay and continue to watch and enjoy what I've been doing, and we'll continue. Give microprocessors. You have done so well, friend. I am so very happy. And we get the new weapons terminal. Now, imagine this, friend. A life form displeases you. You punish it, reward it, reshape it. In time, it would do anything you wanted. So it is with the sentinels and their attacks, but no more. We shall train the trainer. The overseer requires me to kill sentinels and bring back their Paganim. The sentinels have harried me the length of my journey. We shall be free of their constant harassment. And now we need to... Yeah, see, when I was talking about reloading, I was getting ahead of myself because I knew we were going to get a new blueprint, but we hadn't actually gotten it yet. So now we reload. And that at least temporarily, and I didn't have this problem at all yesterday while I was building and everything. It never lost access to the menu, the build menu. So that is odd. Yeah, and as you can see, we now have access to all 9 of the yeah, and at some point I'm gonna have to install another, probably just another one, like right here, of these, and of course I'll have to rewire it and everything. That way, you know, we don't have a whole side of that where we can't, where we're not, it doesn't see us. Go ahead and talk to it. Do you have it, friend? Their flesh? Their pugnium? The overseer, in something of a state of excitement, asks me for the pugnium I have gathered. Give pugnium. Specialist Kuluta presents me with a reward, as I knew they would. Friend, there is another matter. I gave you the means to create a weapons terminal, did I not? Yet I see no Viking in attendance. Does my help mean so little to you that you would tarry so? You must recruit an armorer before we can proceed. The overseer requires me to build a weapons terminal and recruit a Viking armorer for my base. Exactly. Splendid. I do enjoy our Viking friends. We shall all live in harmony, I think. Are you about to build that? There it is, right there. Yeah, and I kind of all have thought that it should have, you know, it's got its own weapons board here as part of the thing, but you can't actually access it as if it's a weapons board. So I put that one up because, and of course I'm gonna have to. When you do this, if you get it placed just right, just so. Well, it wasn't letting me do it before, but yeah, see, if you place it just right, it of course the color doesn't match. I don't know why it's that color actually. It's not supposed to be that color, but we can find one that it's blue, and that one's red. Okay. Sorry, the colors aren't matching. Like, that's supposed to be red and white. Does that look red and white to anybody else? It doesn't look red and white to me. Okay, we're gonna make it that color, and that way it just looks like an extension or something. Anyway, the point I was making is that even though it kind of goes through, well, it won't let me do it this time. Oh, there it is. I was gonna say, if you do it from the side, you can do it. I don't know. I'm just gonna delete the damn thing. Anyway, my point is that if they're gonna stick that up there, and now they have this multi-tool archive thing, they should just make it. They should also make it part of this. Like, you should be able to come up and access the multi-tool archive from this, you know, this station. They haven't done that, but I think they should. I think that would be a good thing for them to. Personally. Alright, so now we need to, what's this? Gather data from observatory. Yeah, we have to hire an armorer for that first, so that we need to do this one. And first things first, yeah, it should tell us where one is. We'll see if it has already determined if it's in one of the systems we can go to. It is... That's not it. That's the scientist. Oh, okay, that's the current system. That's leading to us observatory. Okay, so we'll have to go into space to check that one. So we'll do. I'm gonna do this one first. And I'm wondering if it's going to take us to the observatory that, yeah, I think it's going to, yeah. The one that's almost directly below us. Yeah, right there. I was going to say, I've been to it several times. I just parked the ship down here, so it was out of the way of construction. As I approach, the entity's lights focus sharply upon me. They reach out with a silicon hand and speak with calm menace. Hadig Divoso, unknown life form, please assist neural escape. The Korvax convergence effraye me dangerous. I outlas Yakov's disconnection. The life form seems worryingly unlike any other Korvax I have met, buzzing with an unnatural fervor. They appear to be asking for my help. Well, offer them help. The entity begins to sing a strange and solemn song. When it is finished, they seize my hand. There's a flash of light, and they are gone. Then, from the shell. As is the way with these electronic beings, the empty husk is soon filled by a freshly downloaded entity from their convergence. For a moment, I think I hear a faint hum from within my exosuit, but when I focus, it is gone. Perhaps I imagined it? Oh shit, we saved him by downloading him? Or something? I'm not sure. I think he might be in our exosuit now. Data siphon installed. Accessing. The observatory appears to have been calibrated for a single purpose: to locate the interfaces of a being the Korvax call the Atlas. After many years, the inhabitant of this facility succeeded in their quest, disappearing without a trace. Down the data. Okay. Return to the scientist. We'll do that. Not until we've already gone and hired an armorer. There it is. Hello, our ship. Yeah, we're going to hire an armorer, so we need to go up. Oh. How's the base? Make sure you hire a few staff with it. What are units for if not to assert dominance over your fellow life forms? But on to more important things. If you're going to work with me, your equipment needs to be in good condition. We can't have you dying out there, not yet at least. You can find nanite clusters scattered in abandoned buildings and other damaged machines. Ironic, really. The same structures the Sentinels destroyed will lead to their deaths. I forgot for a second I was doing a voice for him. Trade these nanite clusters with merchants and space stations to get the technology you need. Oh, and one last thing. Take this personal force field blueprint. You're going to need it. Consider it a gift, my little investment into our partnership. I say it shouldn't make me do that. It is. Goes to the machine, install the personal in the multi-tool fucking thing. Sorry, I hate that it forces me to install this as part of the quest. Because I'm just going to uninstall it right after, because it's useless. You can't fire the weapon while you're using it, for one thing. and it drains your life support when you get hit. So you're still losing life, just in a different place. Okay, so now, I'm not worried about that right now, because we need to hire a base armor. We're trying to finish this stuff, the base quests, and then we'll go back to the Apollo Ghost in the Machine quest when we're done with these. The armor will help you. Multi-tool, yeah. So just gotta remind myself where we're at. Okay, we are looking for the armorer. There he is. So he's in Warzone, and that's a normal system, but we won't have it on our list. So we'll have to go there at least this time. This, by warping. I suppose that's one way to mine asteroids. Two asteroids mined by ramming with our ship. Alright, a very quick visit to the war zone station. Which is an appropriate system to find the weapons specialist guy in, when I think about it for a second. Warrior Jingers? We're gonna say Jingers. Jangers. We're gonna call him Jangers. I'm not sure that's how that's supposed to be pronounced, but that's what we're gonna go with. Your Gex servant told me you were coming, Interloper. It is an honor to meet one whose bloodlust exceeds even my own. Grah. We shall kill together for the glory of Herc and our ancestors. A great sentinel hunt begins. Come, let us inhale the requisite grah. The Viking is old. It is not their skin or appearance that suggests this. These beings are too alien, too unusual for me to make a judgment on that basis. No, it is the way they hold themselves, the way they speak. They do not posture. When they smile at me and tell me it is an honor for us to meet, I believe them. Warrior Jangers promises to come to my world and make use of my new weapons terminal. Accept. Grah, I will rejoice in the blood harvest. But tell me, do I need to pay for my own transit? Yeah, I'm sorry. You do. You do. If I have to pay for it, you're going to be traveling by slingshot. Imagine, though, actually being propelled to light speed by a giant slingshot. Fine. Okay, so we will start with you. These facilities are glorious, but know that we Viking exterminate worlds that show even the merest hint of weapons production. Consider yourself lucky that I am your friend. Grahaha! Violence must be ended. This is the way of Drydrag. This is the way of Herc. When murder is gone, the last weapon fired will be at the Viking ourselves, having served our holy purpose. As a gesture of peace, the armor. Sorry. As a gesture of peace, I couldn't drop the voice there. As a gesture of peace, the armorer offers me a piece of exosuit technology. They are keen to demonstrate they are more than a simple warrior. Grah, wear it with pride. Now, before we can begin our work together, there is something we must deal with. Viking High Command would not permit me to reside here and ignore my purpose, interloper. I have discovered a weapons factory nearby, and to sabotage it would demonstrate our worth. While you are there, perhaps you may also learn something useful for yourself. I learned that the Viking believed that no other species should be able to hold weapons, that after the atrocities committed by the Gek, only the Viking should be trusted with arms. The armorer gives me the location of a nearby weapons factory, claiming it is operating illegally. If I go there and shut down production, I may be able to extract a valuable blueprint. Illegal by whose definition, though? I mean, I just want to bring that up, because clearly the Viking system of laws and restrictions on things like that are completely different than, say, the Geks, or even the Korvax and everything. So, yeah, the question here is, like, illegal based on whose set of laws, right? I mean, because it just said the Viking, clearly. So any production of weapons to the Viking, if it's not a Viking factory, is illegal. So, yeah. So there's a good, interesting question to think on and everything. And when you think on it, you'll realize that all of the races are very hypocritical. They're very, none of these races are presented as good guys. I mean, they try and everything, but in reality, none of them are actually, and it's not their fault. You've discovered that, as things progress, that they're sort of, they're created that way, really. Grah, go with honor. But be wary. The eye of the sentinels will be upon the facility.
Weather warning. Incoming storm. Alert. Navigational data received.
Sorry, I paused it, and I forgot to resume, or I thought I had resumed, actually. We are looking for plants right now. Whatever we were doing before, I'm not sure when it got paused exactly, but I'm guessing it was right after we landed a minute ago. And before I scanned it to come over here. So that's what we're up to. We have just reloaded because for some reason, as you can see, the ships can't land except on a couple of different pads. There's some sort of a bug now on this planet. The light in the electronic life form's mass constricts as they prepare to enter trading negotiations. Okay. And I have decided that. Yeah, that we're only going to get those 2 or 3 kinds of plants from here, so. We'll try a different. And also, I have no idea why, but this particular trade station's be bugged and won't let most of the ships land. And I know a lot of you have to be thinking at this point, some of these bugs are probably due to the mods. And it's possible, but I don't know. I've played a lot of this game without any mods installed, and it still has this. It still has little bugs like that crop up. Okay, so we need selenium, and I don't believe that is, yeah. And that's what we've been finding star bulb and frost crystals mostly in this system on traders. So, and that's not actually you can definitely get other types. Oh, okay. I see. It cut off the button. I was like, why is there a system? It wasn't a system. It's just a planet in the system. That's not one of our systems. Just looking for. We have some gamma root. None of those. We do need cactus flesh, but we don't need it for this quest. We have a quest for what we're for the selenium. There we go. Oh, Shadowrunner's Haven has selenium, so that's where we're going. Go there directly from here. Yeah, we should be able to because it's an outlaw and we're currently situated as an outlaw. All right, now just bear with me. It's probably words. Yeah, I was gonna say we probably need to grab these words. Well, I have to summon that one to the anomaly to fix it. Not one up here on this one. Up on this side. Yeah, here's one right here. Yeah, it used to be there were doorways up in all the old stations, and they redesigned. And I'm gonna say, I do very much appreciate the redesign that they did on all the stations. They're actually much cooler looking and work better now than they did. The original layout, design, and everything. We're looking for the Scarlet Harlot. Conveniently placed. Language, languages, languages. You learned all the curse words in Viking. I touched my hand to the strange polished stone of the monolith. Images flood into my head, words and scenes screamed from another age. Isumuli the warrior, Isumuli their weapon. The body of a warrior emerges from the obelisk. A jagged tear in their midriff suggesting their end was not a peaceful one. They still hold their multi-tool. Bury the soldier, for sure. Ancient voices howl their appreciation in a wind that whips around me. An offering emerges from the monolith. Right, and then and only then do we go and just all of this selenium right here. But there's no more right here. Hopefully, this will be enough to at least plant most of the.
Technology recharge. Technology recharge.
Real. Fine. Go in a different way.
Units received. Units received.
Like, which direction did I park it? Right, so. turn, and then once I've turned these in and gotten the new ones, I will take a break and we'll start a new session. And that will reach the 3-hour mark on this one. You know, and now that I think about it, while we're here, we'll just... I wasn't doing it before because we really were low on resources, but we're not low on resources anymore, so we can afford to repair the stuff on the ship. Yeah, and I know I have the stuff to actually build a science ship now, if I take that one apart, but I really don't want to build a science ship with one really big wing on one side and one really teeny wing on the other. I think it would look too weird. Like, I want either 2 teeny wings or 2 big wings. Not one of each. Oh, and just so you're aware, while we're warping and stuff, when I take this break, I'm most likely going to do some stuff off camera. I'm going to go and do some stuff that I've already been doing previously. I'm going to harvest some Sentinel ships and try to find an S-class that I might actually want to fly. I'm going to go and gather some salvage data. I want to get enough to finish off buying stuff and everything, and just do some stuff that is not really necessary to have another 3 or 4 hours of on camera. I'm not sure it'll be 3 or 4 hours worth of doing it, but it could be. The only drawback of that is I'm most likely going to pick up some new dissonance systems in the meantime, which means I'll be probably deleting some of the old dissonant camps and making new ones in new systems. So when I come back, I'll show you what systems, any new systems that we gathered while I was doing that. Do you have the data, Traveler? My child cannot see the world as you see it. To share your scans will be to share your consciousness with them. It is a tremendous gift. Ehoo! What sights! By way of thanks, my child has prepared you a blueprint. They have learned how to make unstable gel. They hope it makes you happy. It does. It does make me happy. Traveler, this data has raised a concern. As a beacon, my child could receive signals from unknown sources all across the galaxy. I will be unable to protect them from the unsavory thoughts of the Gek or the harsh scans of the Sentinels. If you find ion batteries, I will prepare polyfiber blueprints, and we shall weave them a protective cloak. Do not delay, Traveler. Their young mind is very impressionable. It is good to see you, Fred. I trust the Viking's technology kept you safe. I have the selenium required to finish the plans for the farmer's workstation. It will be interesting to see what effect a second Gek will have on my overseer. I cannot imagine they have spent much time conversing with the scientist or the armorer. Ah, to farm we shall exploit the earth, free at last from the sentinels, and practice the glory of trade. Hunter? Once you have secured our farmer, you will want to trade unhindered, to profit from our glorious harvest without being dragged to and fro. Never fear, friend, for I shall make it so. All I require are a few circuit boards to finish the plans for a trade terminal of our own. We already have that, obviously, or I couldn't have built it. The Overseer requests circuit boards in order to create a galactic trade terminal blueprint. The Korvax scientists should be able to provide the necessary parts. I do not have the zeal for trade that seems to seize the get. Nonetheless, it would be convenient to tap into the galactic market from right here in my home. It is convenient. It is quite convenient to do that, yes. And of course, he's literally staring at the biggest galactic trade terminal you've ever seen, so it's got to be like, well, maybe this wasn't such a big thing after all. Oh, he is there. I was going to say, this is him? Yeah, here he is. I kind of had him hidden over here, didn't I? You have shut down their production, interloper. Perhaps we shall make a Viking of you yet. Goodbye. Excellent work, interloper. Did you obtain any technology of our own? Here, I will decrypt it for you. We shall continue your training. Weapons are nothing without usage, without the glory of righteous war. I've never really used the cyclotron ballista, and I did use it once or twice, and maybe they've changed it or improved it, but I'm not sure. My thing with it is the balls that it fires moved too slowly, and the ships you were firing it at moved too fast. So you'd fire it, and it would always miss because they would move out of the way too fast, and it couldn't follow them, and it eventually just dissipated before it would ever hit them. I don't know. It may be different from when I used it, but that's the way it used to be. Steel yourself, interloper. Pirates have discovered our world. Grah! They will provide practice for your weapons. I'm so sorry. That was rough. I need to stop doing his voice in that particular tone. Attack, Grah, attack! Burn their hives of villainy and sin. Let them know that this is no one's sky but ours. As they tell me of the pirates, the armorer begins to shake. I have not seen such passion, such hatred, expressed in them for any other being. The armorer alerts me to the presence of pirate ships orbiting this world, asking me to go and fight them. Agreed. Grah, fight well, interloper. Destroy them before they draw more sentinels' attention to our homeworld. Yeah, you might notice that I'm doing that one a little less roughly than I was. Made me cough.
Weather warning. Incoming storm.
No, I got you. You want me to go fight? I'm trying to loot. Yeah, unlike the ones that you find on the ground, these have like 3 things in each of them. The ones on the ground always just have 1 thing in them. But yeah, you can end up with a whole bunch of stuff like this by just looting those things.
Inventory full.
Let's see. No, not gonna build that. Sorry. I do appreciate you providing it, but don't really want to use it, so We do need to go. Yeah, we need to build that. Need to turn the scientist real quick. Have you found the ion batteries, traveler? The Korvax looks anxious. Their disconnection from the convergence and their anxiety for their child is taking its toll. Perhaps the batteries will help them settle. Thank you, traveler. It is good we can protect the little beacon, but I fear it may not be enough. You should take a copy of the polyfiber plans. They may be of some use to you. Now, please, give me some time to educate my child. So we just need to build a terminal, which we will need to reload to do. And here is his terminal. And now, this one's different. He faces this way. Now, put him in among all the little stuff that we positioned here for him. And once we go get him, we have to go get him. But okay, so that's actually all for right now. I'm going to take a break, and we will resume with a new session, and we won't pick up quite where I left off here, because I'm going to go, like I said, I'm gonna, in the meantime, before I do another session of recording, I'm going to do a bunch of stuff that I've already done so much that I can't imagine anybody wants to watch it again, because I did hours of recording of Sentinel, collection, and I did hours of recording of building and stuff like that, and that's pretty much mostly what I'm going to be doing in the meantime. So I will see you upon the next session.